space. Well, not really. Take two. Here, in the Mitten State. Welcome to Code 47, bringing you all things Star Trek. Spanning the quadrants, the best thing since the neutral zone.
We are back. This is the Code 47 podcast on the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. I am your Trek Lord of Western Michigan, captain of the Starfleet International Chapter, the USS Grand Petoskey here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Charlie Carden. I am joined by both of my co-hosts today, which is not something we do all the time, but this is kind of like in sitcoms when you had a very special episode. This is a very special episode, and it's so big that I had to bring in both Rich and Aaron to break down our first all-news explosion episode. So, guys, chime in. How the heck are you doing today?
Kapla. I'm
Kapla.
well.
Right on. I'm
living the dream here.
I hear that. Good deal. So this was a big week. Monday of this week, we're recording this on a Sunday, but the Monday that preceded this was what's known as First Contact Day. Now, in the film Star Trek First Contact, the plotline centers around the first contact between humanity on Earth in the year 2063 with the Vulcan culture, which happened on April the 5th of that year. So much like Star Trek Day, which is September 8th, 1966 in this case, which signaled the first broadcast episode of the original series. First Contact Day, I feel like this was, unless I'm misremembering, I feel like this was the first day that First Contact Day was really a thing with all of this different stuff and the panels, and I don't know if that's a result of, kind of COVID culture and people doing things on Zoom, but much like with Star Trek Day, which was, September of last year, I felt like this was a huge explosion of panels happening and new news being dropped. I mean, am I misremembering? Was this a thing in years past and I'm just not recalling?
No, this was huge this year.
Yeah, big time. So without further ado, we'll jump right on into it. There is a reference on here to watch the panels. We're not going to break them down quite that minutely, but I'm going to go ahead and jump on into the first story. And this is very exciting. And Rich, I know you hopped right on this right away because this is a chance not only for us here in Michigan, for us who are not only in our senior staff, but just in our club of the USS Grand Petoskey altogether, but also for yourself. And for Madison, who's another of our senior staffers who lives down in Kansas, to potentially drive to what is going to be the new official Star Trek convention, which is going to be a rotating convention, which is going to be in Chicago next year. So this is fantastic. And Rich, I've shared with you, you and I met because your son and Logan, who is the son of my best friend Todd, who is our other secret friend another secret friend we do a podcast with. Your sons both do Taekwondo together. Am I remembering that correctly?
My nephew and Logan do.
Your nephew, okay. I knew there was a family connection. So that's how you met Todd. Todd brought you on our show, and that's how you and I ended up doing Great Disturbances together, and now we're doing this. So but my point in bringing Todd into it is he lives obviously in the Twin Cities in Minnesota. I live here in Western Michigan. Chicago is not quite roughly halfway. It's a little further for him than it is for me. But since 2010, because he and I being college roommates, and he lives many states away, we never get to hang out. Our occasion was to hang out at either a Wizard World show, and that's turned into C2E2 since then. But now this is a great opportunity for all of us to get together basically this time next year in Chicago at the McCormick Place, which is where they have C2E2, to have just a Star Trek convention. And to celebrate all things Star Trek. So this is phenomenal. There have not been. I was telling you guys in the pre-roll. April and I were helping out a family member of a friend who's writing a dissertation at Western Michigan University about Star Trek for a cultural anthropology class. About how the fact that yes, there's cons and Comic Cons and pop culture cons, but the real heyday of Star Trek conventions has kind of been a dead duck since the 1990s. There's the big one in Las Vegas, and that that one is terrific. But again, Las Vegas for us Midwesterners is so very far away. It might as well, be in Australia because it's very expensive to fly there and have a hotel and all this different stuff. Where Chicago is certainly a lot closer because it's a 3-hour drive for us here in West Michigan, which is very exciting. So, Rich, this is obviously it's a longer drive for you. It's it's a longer drive for Madison, but Aaron, I don't know if Chicago is too far from Pittsburgh that you would want to take a stab, but I know that you don't mind long drives.
Right. I mean, I'm going to drive. I drive 10.5 hours now, like once a week. So.
Wow. Okay. So what you're basically saying is there's a real good chance that the three of us could get together at this show.
Yeah, there is a good chance, and maybe we can do something live.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I think doing something live would be spectacular. So I'm really looking forward to this. As soon as tickets go on sale, and I'm skimming this article, I don't know if they say when that's going to go down, but I know that information will probably be not so far in the offing that we'll be able to jump on that. So yeah, absolutely count me in on that. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's nice to see Trek cons anyway, moving out of Vegas and kind of getting out there a bit more again.
Okay, but do you think it's going to be like the Olympics where everybody just starts like making these really high bids on them so they become ridiculously expensive and we won't be able to afford to go?
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not too. Hopefully that's not. You mean it's going to be like San Diego Comic-Con where it's just everything sells out? Hopefully, because we Trekkies are, a portion of fandom. We're not all of fandom, which is what Chicago is. It's like you can see everything in the world and there's 50 billion people there, but tickets sell out in 0.68 seconds. So you'll never actually be able to go. So hopefully this won't be quite that bad. I mean, I know C2E2.
We might have to team up on getting tickets and we all try to get X amount and then go from there.
Yeah, I think with the coordination not only between the three of us, but definitely the rest of the senior staff on the Petoskey and other Star Trek friends and other people in our club, that we can coordinate and get a fair group of us organized. I know at big shows of these, I'm not often a fan of cosplaying because of, footwear. But I think without a doubt, this is one that I would love to have a spot where, like when we were at Grand Rapids Comic-Con, April and I went back and forth and changed costumes, and then we walked back because the venue and the hotel was all connected by Skywalk. So it was very easy to go back and forth and change and not wear your feet out, always wearing the same uncomfortable shoes. So I am absolutely down with this. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I was at C2E2 2 years ago, and it's a real nice setup with the hotel and everything being real close by. So
gotcha. Very
I'm
good.
hopeful.
I'm fired up. So you can consider this maybe not the first, but definitely the most exciting get together that we have kind of planned. And again, it's a year away. So anyway, moving on. What else did we have? Who's up next?
Oh, I'm up next with First Look. Star Trek Prodigy gives us an animated Catherine Janeway, which this is very cool because we knew that this show was going to come out. But then they unveiled the picture.
Oh, yes.
I know. And I was like, that is so cute. But I'm like, she looks really young in it. And then how they explain it now, we know she's going to be a hologram.
Right.
She's going to be training these kind of group of alien teens that commandeer this derelict Starfleet ship. And she's a training hologram. So she'll probably help them and be their hologram captain. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool, and I'm especially excited about this, having a 6-year-old daughter, because I think that this is kind of the demographic that this is geared towards, and it'll get her into Star Trek.
Which is, exactly, stardom young. But again, there has to be a hook, and it was funny, there was something else that we were talking about, speaking to this college student, is that Leonard Nimoy once said in an article that Star Trek, he was referring to his own show, is really layered, that there's enough of the stuff, like you can see Captain Kirk getting a fist fight and there's laser beams and explosions, and that's very appealing to younger children. But watching this, coming back to the series when you're a teenager or even perhaps older, there are other things that goes over a kid's head thematically, social commentary, that you pick up anew watching it again. So, but again, how do you get them on the hook, especially in this modern media world of 50 billion choices in video games and all this different stuff? Where's the hook? So the hook is have a show that's geared towards young people, and then have shows that are geared towards other demographics. And then
you mean old people, right?
old white guys. I think you and I, we all know that that was a huge part of this conversation with this college student that we were talking to, is that there's way too much, grumpy old white people who don't love diversity in Star Trek. That just makes me scratch my head.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yes, exactly. Like Captain Rebel Jesus Ship that we were talking about in the chat before this.
I forgot the name of his ship, so that was just my improvised version of the name of it. I thought it was fitting.
That absolutely works for me. So now, Rich, your son and your nephew, they're kind of that same. They're a little older than that, or kind of in an age bracket where they might watch something like this.
Yeah, he said someone's 10, right?
He's 10. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
So that'll fit the bill. Chance to get it. Where does he stand with Star And currently? Is it not on his radar, or do you think this might make a difference?
He's not a fan yet, but he did watch Lower Decks, and he liked that. So
yeah, good.
This might be, his.
I just want to add too that this is set in the Delta Quadrant. I don't know if you guys read that.
Wow, no, I did not. I thought I did read I read a fan theory, or one of these, that the derelict ship is the Wave Rider Aero shuttle that we never see, that is supposed to be attached to the bottom of the Intrepid class ship, to the bottom of Voyager. Wouldn't that be cool if it was like, the reason we never saw it is that in an early episode they had to jettison it and they never replaced it, so it just drifted forever?
Well, I don't know if that would be feasible, just because they have the programming probably on there already of Janeway.
Right, exactly. So yeah, and why would she be on there? I'm fascinated.
Right.
I'm more fascinated to get a rollout date, which I would imagine for this close, and everything is saying, well, expect to be delivered in mid-2021 or something, that we might see this maybe even before we see Lower Decks, or maybe because it's not on the same. This is being broadcast on Nickelodeon, which is available to us on Paramount Plus. That we might see it at perhaps even the same time, because we're going to get Lower Decks, which is what Rich is going to talk about in a minute, in August. So this could potentially be around that time. I'm hoping.
Yeah, me too.
So anyway.
Lower Decks season 2, huh?
Good stuff. Yes, yeah. So Rich, tell us about Lower Decks season 2.
So Lower Decks season 2 is actually going to be arriving on August 12th, but that's not all. They also renewed it for a third season. So we're going to get 3 seasons for sure of Lower Decks.
Wait. I have an interjection that you'll appreciate if you watch that show. I think this is a chew. What do you think? The chew dance. Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, this is good. So they're bringing back Riker, Captain Riker of the time. Yes. And there's also a trailer out there, a teaser trailer. If you haven't seen season 1, I don't know if you'd want to go watch season 2 trailer, but it's out there. But yeah, so that's going to be fun. My son and I, like I said, we watched this. He enjoyed the heck out of it, and I enjoyed it as well. So it was interesting to see animated Star Trek where they actually move.
Right. No,
it's not
exactly.
Filmation,
not the Filmation, which again, watching that show as I did, as an adult, being a completist, wanting to see all the Star Trek kind of after the fact, I was of course familiar with Filmation because of the He-Man cartoons that were aired when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, and the very early 80s. And I remember it was on after school, and I have this weird early memory of I was at maybe a catechism class and rushing home. And then I remember, I got home, it had started, and I'm like, oh, man, it already started. And there's He-Man running down like he's in a cave, and it's forward perspective, and it's right in front of him. You see his hands going up and down, and the cave behind him is the same 5 stalactites and stalagmites going back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. And that was entertainment to us. But, yeah, watching that animated series, even Gene Roddenberry hated the animated series. It's well documented that he thought it was crap. So seeing Lower Decks and just how friggin' great it is, And just to know that there's going to be more. And I love Tawny Newsome as an actress. She and fellow comedian Paul Scheer do the podcast Directive podcast, which I think is now back for a second season. It's on my feed, so I definitely do listen to it. But I think she's extremely entertaining. I love her. I love the whole voice cast. Rutherford, Tendi, and obviously Boimler, who is Jack Quaid, who's Dennis Quaid's son, Dennis Quaid McRyan's son, who's also fantastic on The Boys, which is an adaptation of that comic book over on Amazon Prime. So I just love everything about Lower Decks. So much fun.
Yeah, it's got a unique sensibility about it that definitely appeals to this newer generation of kids. Like any cartoon that my son watches is pretty darn close to the comedy of Lower Decks, and that works to the advantage, like you were saying, of being like that hook,
right.
Get them while they're young. Wait, no, that's that sounds.
And not to.
That sounds like a cigarette salesman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get them while they're young is not Marlboro, so let's just forget about that.
Right.
Did you guys notice that, or did you think that the picture looks like the Lower Decks picture on the article we read looks like American Gladiator?
Yeah.
From the 80s.
Yeah.
Like that woman's name should be like Blazer or something. And
Blazer. Chevy Nova. No, wait, that doesn't make
Definitely.
sense. Okay, forget about it. Oh my gosh, Aaron, any more thoughts? Are you fired up about this one like us? Did you love Lower Decks?
I have never watched Lower Decks.
Stop it!
I know. I didn't want to admit that.
Somebody has homework.
I don't. I've never watched the animated series. I don't like cartoons.
Okay. I remember that you told me that. I don't. I of course we're in regular parlance until shows come back on. We are breaking down older episodes, so I don't know if you're scheduled for. I think Rich and I are doing.
I deliberately didn't schedule myself.
Well, I would entreat you. Now, again, we're not breaking down Lower Deck season 1 because when Alex and I started the show, it was when that was on, and so we did it every week. We talked about a new episode. So we won't be doing Lower Decks season 1, but when Lower Decks season 2 rolls around, I mean, unless you want 10 weeks of nothing but me and Rich, you got to watch it with us because
all right.
I promise you that you will enjoy it. I would be stunned if you didn't like it. I would be stunned. It's fun. So I entreat, let us know. Watch season 1 so you're familiar with what's going on. It's 10 episodes. They're 22 minutes each. It's just not a huge commitment. I think you will be glad that you did.
All right. Just let me know when I need to start getting caught up on season 1, and I will.
All right. I would say but when we get to the summertime. So you've got some time.
Okay, good.
Just stay far, far away from the 70s animated show. Holy God.
Yes. Yeah. Because you have no obligation to watch it, don't watch it.
Yeah, don't bother.
That's what I would
It's
say.
bad.
Rich and I are duty bound to have to watch it again. So yeah, yikes. Okay.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh God. All right. So moving on. We were more news and treated to a sneak peek of season 4 of Star Trek Discovery, which, as I understand, I believe with season 3 they were completely finished before COVID hit, and into making this, which is why we stand a better chance of seeing this. In my opinion, I feel like we could see this after Lower Decks is finished with its 10-week run. I feel like, because that's what happened in 2020. We had Lower Decks season 1, and we jumped right into Discovery season 3, so we had the 23 weeks of Star Trek, which was to me an enormous hit. So in my heart, in my head canon, I'm feeling like come October, November, we'll get the chance to see this. But already awesome controversy, because what don't the neck, I want to call it the neckbeards, because that's an expression I always use over on Secret Friends, of people who just, they hate change and they hate things that are new. What are they first of all, they hate this show anyway, because it's a woman captain and they use swears and there's explosions and blur blur blur. It's not my Star Trek. They went and
you forgot about the gay people in it too. They don't.
Oh yeah.
Oh, not the gays. Oh, the gays.
Oh no.
Not the gays. So we throw ourselves into the fact that
we're going to get to that later.
Oh yes. Discovery at the end of season 3. I assume everybody's caught up. No, not you, Rich.
Not me, but I'm close. Okay. It's fine. Spoil it. That's fine. I've already seen a couple of things. All
I'll simply say, is that at the end of season 3, and this trailer kind of spoils that too, Burnham does become Discovery's captain. They become fully integrated into 32nd Century Starfleet, so they get the new outfits. I'm a uniform guy. I have a million of them. I'll probably buy just about anything they put out because I love uniforms. So 32nd century uniforms were just a big frown by most people. Oh, they look like schmucks. It's a weird top plus gray pants and blur, blur, blur. People were bitching about that. Now the uniforms have the same shape. It's still a two-piece with the weird schmucky, like longer, like like front tail thing. But now the colors are different. People can't stop bitching about they've gone back to.
I actually don't like this though.
Okay, all right. Well, I will let you tell me about that. But yes, they've gone back to primary colors: red for command, the whole thing is red; gold for ops and engineering, and then blue for medical. And I think but all uniforms have in the same stripe piece. That everybody's got a blue stripe, and people are just flipping their wigs over it. It's overtaken anything else about this clip. So, Aaron, since you voiced your opinion, what don't you like about it?
I think that it makes everyone look like they're about 10 pounds heavier than they are. You know, like the blue ones were very kind of sleek and streamlined and sporty, and I quite liked what they looked like. And these ones look very
blocky.
Blocky, sure. They remind me of whenever on The Next Generation, the Enterprise found that like older ship that Kelsey Grammer was on, whatever Kelsey Grammer was wearing, like how unflattering that was. That's what these make me think of, just in how unflattering they look on the people wearing them. From an aesthetic point of view, if you just held one up that wasn't on a person, I think, yeah, that doesn't look that bad. But when I see them in the trailer wearing them, they don't look good.
They're kind of, first of all, how dare you knock on the Monster Maroon, because that's what Kelsey Grammer was wearing, because in that episode, it was called Cause and Effect. It was in season 5 of TNG, which is when I became a watch it every week kind of fan. Enterprise was trapped in this time loop where Kelsey Grammer's ship, which came from the TOS movie era, went through an anomaly and crashed into them, and it created a time loop. And they were finally able to figure their way out of it. But then Kelsey Grammer is then stuck in the 24th century wearing his old outfit, which is, to me, as far as uniforms go, the Star Trek 2 through 6 uniform, the two-piece maroon color, the Monster Maroon, is kind of the great white buffalo of Star Trek costuming. It's very hard to get it right. It's very expensive to get all the bits and pieces.
And it doesn't look good on anybody.
And it doesn't look good. And you're right. I agree with you that when the time comes when I finally do get one, it probably will not look good on me. Now, our senior staff artwork that we had commissioned, which was a bunch of us dressed in those, which Rich, you took part in it, looks fantastic, but it's a drawing. So you're right, it's not real, because we all look a lot younger, we all look a lot less or speltier, exactly. So yeah, you're right that it's not real life, but I agree with you. These uniforms, I agree the aspect of they're not kind of tailored the right way, but I still get excited about uniforms. I have owned some of the ugliest ones. I have 2 from Star Trek: The Motion Picture, the pajama ones, because I think they're so ugly they're good. And my friend Miranda rides my ass about it. Well, you better not wear that when I'm around, because I friggin' hate it. And of course, that sounds like a challenge to me. So I'm gonna find a way to wear it. But I wanted one that had short sleeves for the summertime. You know what I mean? But yeah, I have the gray one that is they just all look like PJs, and even those original costumes, the pants and the shoes were sewn together, so they were like footies, and they do make some weird choices. I agree with you that they make some weird choices.
Do you love the rank insignia on the new uniforms?
I hate any rank insignia that is on the badge, because
I like it.
You can't read it from a distance.
It's so paramilitary looking up close, and it looks cool. I like it.
I mean, the captain's uniform has the extra flourish. It has the rank epaulets on the shoulder, and then all the uniforms have the V-shaped neck piece, but only the captain's has the pips on it.
I like it.
I like the fact that, because again, when I purchase one, it will be the captain's one, because those are the uniforms I get. But I don't like that I can't look at Joe Blow from a distance and not know what his rank is. I don't like that. That annoys me. But I digress. I realize that all of this that we're talking about has very little to do with the content of the trailer, but that is.
I know we went there like everybody else.
Yeah, I know. So, being that I've kind of screwed this one into the ground, I think it's a great opportunity to move on, unless you guys have any other thoughts.
Nope.
I'm mostly good, except I've got to say I love those Star Trek 2 through 6 uniforms. Those are my favorite uniforms out of all of them.
Me too, the Monster Maroon. But yeah, you know, Aaron does make a good point. It is really hard to not have bad angles when you're wearing one if you have any body fat on your body whatsoever.
Right. And even if you don't, you're going to look blocky and bigger. Like, I was looking at Michael Burnham and I was like, are they trying to disguise a pregnancy here?
Oh,
it's possible. I sure as hell hope. Yeah, that would be, you know, and Star Trek has a history of doing that. They did it with Gates McFadden in TNG. They did it with Roxanne Dawson in Voyager.
I don't think they are trying to disguise a pregnancy. I think maybe it's just an unflattering looking uniform. But, you know, what do I know about fashion?
Especially in the 32nd century. Who knows any of that shit? No doubt about it. So, all right. Well, moving on, we have something very cool. Aaron, the next story is yours.
Oh, Nichelle Nichols gets her due on Paramount Plus documentary. This looks very, very cool. It's called Women in Motion. And they say it's Nichelle Nichols, Star Trek, and the remaking of NASA. So this is going to be all very like female forward. You know, Nichelle Nichols is kind of at the center for how she inspired all these things. I honestly cannot wait. This looks like it's going to be a real ace.
This is awesome. I love. I met Nichelle Nichols once at a show in Chicago, and just at least got to walk up and say hello. So that was kind of the extent of my contact. But what a pioneering individual! Not only for everything that she did in Star Trek, but I believe really subsequently everything that she's done, you know, for NASA and things of that nature, you know, kind of subsequently. So I've become a bigger fan of documentaries, particularly Star Trek documentaries, as time goes on. You know, of course, there was Trekkies 1 and 2 back in the day. We had the DS9 documentary within the last year or so. This Voyager documentary, which has been crowdfunded and just blew the doors off, which surprised me to show how many people really love Voyager when in a lot of ways it gets forgotten in common parlance because people just want to talk about TNG and TOS in
Not
DS9.
me.
Yeah, no kidding. But I mean, of the people out there like Captain Kirk and blah 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 people, you know, I get far less excited about TOS than I do about other series, but I get very excited about all the groundbreaking that Nichelle Nichols did and everything. So I find this to be very exciting.
Oh yeah, she did so much for Asian women, Latino women, African American women, and then what she did for the actual NASA Space Agency. I mean, you have Mae Jemison, who was the first female African American astronaut. Like, this is going to cover a lot, and I'm glad she's getting her due because she had such an impact on society, especially for Black women. This is going to be incredible.
Yeah, I'm fired up. So yeah, Paramount Plus, and again, Paramount Plus is the only place where you can see absolutely all Star Trek because they have the original animated series and nobody else does. I don't know if that's much of a selling point. Obviously, you are able to watch older Star Trek series on Amazon Prime and on Netflix, and then globally, obviously, it's a different story no matter where you go. So if that is something, dear listeners, you have questions about where to watch Star Trek, let us know, certainly over on Twitter at SecretFriendsU, and we can help you.
Hey, Rich, do you want to plug your ears for the next part?
I was thinking about it. Maybe I should. I don't know.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we will try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible, but surprise casting was announced for Star Trek Picard Season 2. And this one, to me, they're going to have to put rubber to the road to get me to stop shaking my head on this one because I feel like it doesn't really fit the bill. Season 1 of Star Trek Picard was a huge departure, I think, for the character. You know, we're jumping forward to see Picard 20 years after we last saw him in Star Trek Nemesis. It's the end of the 24th century. He's almost 100 years old and retired, but you know, he retired amid some controversy, and he's in a lot of ways kind of an embittered old man who the season is really his steps back towards redemption and kind of the world of universal politics and really making a difference. And it seemed very grounded in a way. You know, there wasn't really anything too ultra super powery about this. You didn't see any of the more, what's the word I'm looking for here? Kind of space magic-y concepts about that got worked in that maybe we knew from the TNG. But what was revealed with this little teaser trailer that's only about 30 seconds long, and again, all the links that we're talking about, I did post those to our social media over on Secret Friends on Facebook. Also shared them over on our social media on Twitter, so you'll be able to see them there. If you can't find them, hit us up and let us know. They won't be too hard to find. But this teaser trailer relies very heavily on the fact that Q will be returning. The omnipotent trickster will be returning. Of course, he was the stalwart villain / anti-hero / frenemy of Picard that kicked off Star Trek: Next Generation back in 1987, an encounter at Farpoint, and we saw him sprinkled throughout that series. He made a single appearance in DS9 where Cisco punched him in the nose, which everybody loves, and then he was a regular thorn in the side of our beloved Captain Janeway throughout Voyager. I don't see how he is going to fit into what I understand of this series, unless, it's a double-edged sword. It's going to be a tonal shift, that the series will be something else. Is that going to take away from what I feel like they accomplished in season 1? I'm not sure.
Were you happy with season 1?
I was. I know April loved it very much. I liked it for the differences and story-wise kind of where it went, where Star Trek really had not gone before. I liked that. So bringing back it feels like stunt casting in a way, and I hate stunt casting because it's something I feel like we maybe left behind when Star Trek is no longer on network TV, that they don't have to be. It's sweet. So we're going to bring Q back is a great example.
Okay, but honestly, season 1, I agree with you for the most part, but the one thing I didn't like about it was I thought there were too many cameos. I was like, this is just an excuse to get these actors who are great actors working on this somehow, and it didn't always work for me, and I think they're still just doing that. They've talked about Whoopi Goldberg coming back as Guinan. They've talked about Q coming on. Why not? They somehow worked Riker in. They worked Deanna Troi in. They worked Data in somehow, even though he's supposed to be dead. Why not?
I see your point, but just to me, even more so much, like I could see Guinan being, because Whoopi's character had so many dimensions. She was fun, she was playful, she had a past, she had some dark secrets. I could see that fitting into the way season 1 worked. I'm struggling with seeing how Q could fit in with the darker, more episodic function of the way season 1 was. And
how are they going to make somebody that's omnipotent old?
Right. Well,
yeah, I have the same concerns, but like I said, they do a lot of cameos. I think they'll be able to pull it off. Plus, I love the Q character, so if they pull it off, it's going to be great. If they can pull it off.
You're right. It's a big if. To me, Star Trek often finds a way, though the three of us talking separately about the first season of Enterprise, there were some real duffers in that. So could this be another dud? I don't know. We're all going to be watching with bated breath, I'm sure, to see if they can make it work. So, Rich, I assume this is going to get you to watch season 1 of Picard.
Yeah, it's on my list. It's got to be watched. I'm still trying to catch up with. I'm trying to stay ahead of the game with all of our half seasons that we're doing. So when I get to a point where I'm comfortable with that, I'll probably jump back to Picard and finish that out.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Well, okay. Moving on. What do we have next?
Oh, this one's me. Okay, beaming onto the big screen in 2023, the return of Movie Trek. That was... Oh, yeah. So the new Star Trek film for June 2023. This actually, there's no information about it. So when I was reading about it, I'm like, I hope I don't get this one. I don't really know what I'm going to say. They're just saying this movie's coming out, and it might be one of these things they've rumored about, but they don't know what it's going to be. It's just going to be a movie. Who knows?
Right. That's about it.
Yeah.
But it is big news because, again, you think about the fact that there have been a ton of back and forth about, well, is this director Noah Hawley, is he going to have a spot? Is there going to be a Quentin Tarantino bit? Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So this is perhaps a little bit more definitive. And then we had an announcement a few weeks ago about a writer who is going to be attached to do a new movie. So now we have a writer announcement, and then we have an actual movie announcement. So I would imagine subsequently there will be more to go with it as time goes on, as there always is.
Okay. I don't have anything else to say. I don't think that there's any more to unpack from it.
Not really. I know that certainly Rich and I are of the opinion, and we'll see, Aaron, if you jump in with us. I just don't want it to be more lens flare JJ with that crew. I just literally could not care any less about the Kelvin universe characters. I go in fits and spurts where I really hated them, and then I liked them a little bit, and now I'm kind of back to hating them again now that we have real Star Trek back and shows and characters you can care about.
Yeah, it's almost like we liked them because we were desperate for contact.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. So it was, going on a blind date because you haven't been on a date in 12 years. Right. Which is the way it was with Star Trek. So, yeah, now I'm really comfortable in leaving it all behind and finding a movie. Doesn't mean it can't be a movie with new characters, because new characters are great, but these weren't even new characters. These were knockoff versions of original characters. So it's instead of Kirk, you got Quark. Instead of Spock, you got Spork. It's just not.
There's Kirk and Spock, and then there's Walmart Kirk and Spock, and that's what we got.
Right, exactly. We did.
I want to see a DS9 movie.
That would be awesome.
I agree with you.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Who wants to dust off Avery Brooks, though? The guy's a nutcase. Do you really want to see him come back?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I see. Exactly.
Wait, Avery Brooks is a nutcase? What happened?
Oh, dude, just go Google it. He is. Watch him in The Captains, which was a documentary from maybe 6 or 7 years ago, where they interviewed the 5 actors who were captains up to that point. So basically Shatner through Bakula. And the bits that they did with Avery Brooks, he just is a rambling lunatic. Just trust me. Look it up. He's not.
Maybe he was stressed out.
Maybe.
I think not subsequent to that, he was involved in kind of some petty crime, like assault or something like that. So it's just much like he and Jennifer Lean, who's the actress who played Kess, just really fell on hard times. Because I know that there was something in the news about her a couple of years ago where she, did a robbery or was involved in an assault or something and ended up in jail and just.
It was assault.
Yeah.
And being belligerent and resisting arrest.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, I think something is very similar with Avery Brooks. So he's kind of off the reservation, and so I don't know.
We all do it. He can redeem himself. We'll see what happens.
I agree with you. All right, moving along to the kind of wrapping up First Contact Day with even more reveals. Rich, I think that's you.
That's me. Yep. So this article gives us 12 other things that are in the that came out of First Contact Day, including stuff for Picard, Discovery, Lower Decks, and Prodigy. So we had there's going to be something that's never before seen on Next Generation, and maybe time travel as well in Picard Season 2.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Q's arrival apparently is going to come at a critical moment for Picard. So maybe that's going to be an easier way for them to fit him in. I know that you guys were voicing your kind of concern about does this make sense? Well, maybe this will give it a reason, or give it a good reason for existing. They are going to talk about the Borg assimilation as well, apparently. And but no face palms. There will be no face palms. The ever popular Picard face palm GIF is not going to be repeated. So
where is John Delancey in that photo they have about the face palm?
Yeah.
Is he on a boat?
You had said I'm on a boat, and it could be.
Okay. It's like in some sort of wood paneled cabin with all these old timey looking controls.
Yeah. Then they're talking about Discovery and their uniforms. I know this was
we covered
man.
We covered it. They had their moment to respond. Apparently, it does something better for the contrast with the rest of the ship. I don't know. I still don't know about them. I'm sure they'll grow on me. It's the comms badge that bothers me the most. In that 32nd century, I don't like that badge.
It looks like an insect.
Like
an Egyptian insect or something.
Yeah, like a little beetle just sitting there,
like
or
a
something.
Scarab or something like that.
Yeah. Also, one of the aliens from the Prodigy show is going to have ties to the original series, so that's going to be interesting. I don't know which one.
It's going to be Harry Mudd.
Harry Mudd. Oh,
Harry
God.
Mudd's kid.
Oh boy, the Mud Kid. Yeah,
we'll call him Little Mud.
Little Mud. That sounds like a rap name. Little Mud.
Little Mud.
Little Mud.
And then this article talks a little bit about how Kate Mulgrew got them to debeautify Janeway's hologram a little bit for Prodigy, so less, hyper sexualized maybe.
I love that.
I do too.
I do.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. And again, continue to reinvent storytelling, I think, for a more modern audience where that really should be the focus of a character, like, not like, they brought 7 of 9 on Voyager in season 4 and she's wearing a skin tight cat suit because we want the boys to watch the show.
Little kids don't care. They don't want to see some super sexualized person because that's not something that crosses their mind. So she's right to what's the point of doing that? So absolutely, I'm all about it.
Yep.
Totally. Show.
Next piece talks a little bit about something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. It's the heart of Lower Decks. The characters are allowed to improvise, the actors that portray the characters are allowed to improvise, which is fantastic, especially for an animated show, because you can kind of mess with that if you need to. But the idea that they're allowed to improvise is great, and that's a big part of acting. So I love that. And they're going to maybe go a little less heavy on the references to past Trek stuff. There's also a story pitch for Wesley Crusher.
No, boy.
That guy should just shut up, I think. Shut up, Wesley.
Yeah, shut up, Wesley. We don't want it. Forget about it.
I'm not going to say that. He hates it.
He hates
the actor. He does. He hates it when people say it.
Why wouldn't he? It's super rude. I totally understand.
He hasn't heard it his whole life.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? They're also using a new tool, an AR wall, that's going to let people see what world they're on when they're doing their acting. I guess there's a wall. It's going to be pretty cool, I think. But basically projecting what the world looks like onto the soundstage that they're working on, so the actors will be able to kind of react to what they're actually seeing instead of just a big blob of green, which is kind of nice.
Right, that's a technology that they were using in filming The Mandalorian, which I think was pretty groundbreaking. So that's good. I love it.
One last bit, and this one I think will be near and dear to your heart, Charlie. The designers and the showrunners are inspired by and hiring cosplayers.
Oh, yeah.
Where's your resume, Charlie?
That's another one that was pretty pivotal in this, particularly that those final couple episodes of season 1 of The Mandalorian, is they brought in local members of the 501st in California to be TKs or stormtroopers. So are you kidding me? But of course, they're not filming in Michigan. What am I supposed to do about that? But yeah, you're right. I am a nut about accuracy and having a uniform that looks as screen accurate as possible. So yeah, I'll cut up a resume. Are you kidding me? Hands down, I would go be a background whatever. I'll dye my hair again, even though my wife's threatened me if I need to look younger. I'll do it. I don't care.
Let me know if you need help putting a CV together.
Okay. I don't get a headshot and everything.
Oh yeah, you'll have your pictures all through the resume since it would be a visual resume.
All right. I have never done anything like that, but yes, if that comes up, I'm not saying I'm gonna keep working out. Got to get in a good Starfleet shape.
Getting fit for cosplay.
Fit for cosplay. You got it.
Is that it on that, Rich?
That's it. That's all there is on that.
Right. Here's one next that's near and dear to my heart. The Fort Lauderdale police mistook Star Trek memorabilia for weapons. Lawsuit. So I have a lot of Klingon weapons mounted on the walls of my room, and my most recent acquisition I had in my car a few weeks ago, driving it back where I received it in South Carolina as a birthday gift to Pennsylvania where I live, and I got pulled over for speeding. And I was scared to death that he would see, and it wasn't just a batleth, it was the sort of K-leth, so it has all these points on it. I was scared to death he was going to look at it, and I would get in trouble for having a weapon in the car. So this is the kind of thing that has always kind of gone through my mind, like, what if the police are in my house someday? They're going to think I'm some sort of weapons nut, and they're not going to realize that I had them like custom made by a blacksmith, and they're just for like decor purposes. Yeah, I don't know. There's not really much else to say about it. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but that's basically what happened. People had weapons on the walls, and the police thought that they were weapons.
Whoops. Yeah, exactly. Watch your P's and Q's when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no kidding. That was just hysterical. That like, how do you not know that Star Trek weapons are Star Trek weapons? Or, you know,
if you've never watched Star Trek, like these batleths I have are made of steel. Yeah. They're heavy. I mean, I think my heaviest one probably weighs about 15 pounds.
Oh, mama.
And you could it's pointy. You could kill someone with it. So, I mean, I kind of get it, I guess.
Did they say what kind of weapons were?
No, they don't. Okay. They just say weapons. I'm assuming they were batleths and stuff like that because, you know, they all look like weapons. Like a mechleth looks like some sort of weird axe thing.
Stabby thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. Word of the wise, leave them at home. And if you're doing crimes, don't have them in your car. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. Well, moving on, in the finest tradition of Star Trek, kind of getting ahead of the curve in science and technology, there are researchers in, I believe it is Scotland, that say a device could help in fighting climate change. So this could be a real-life ocean tricorder, something that could be used to evaluate deep sea mining and the value of marine biotechnology and life. So, yeah, the tricorder obviously is a very famous device going all the way back to the original series. It's what McCoy always had when he waved over a guy and said, "He's dead, Jim."
I have one.
I have a couple. I have the medical tricorder prop that was a Playmates prop that April uses when she does the TNG Doctor as a cosplay. So
I have the one that's the second photo in the article, and then I have like an original series one.
I have an original series one as well that a friend gave me because she owned it. She's like, I'm never going to use this. She had developed a cosplay for a show we were doing that it didn't work out. She wasn't happy with it. She's like, I got this tricorder and I don't want it anymore, so now it's yours. The irony of it is, I hate the TOS costume, so I don't own one. I won't own one. I have the Disco Prize and the Discovery, but those props are different. So I have TOS props that I have no use for. So if I meet another TOS cosplayer, I might donate or sell those to them to kind of lighten my load because like I said, I'm very anal about proper props with the proper uniform. So that one's not my favorite. But at any rate, this is great. And again, let's not forget that the flip-top cell phone plus the iPad and tablet, that's all stems from things that we're seeing in Star Trek and Star Trek The Next Generation. So I love this. I love this. Let Star Trek continue to carry us into the future.
Heck yeah.
What do you think about the next article? I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, but...
The next article is that Star Trek Discovery won an award for Best Drama. It was the GLAAD Awards. They were held just last Thursday night. That would have been the 8th. And it was the third time that it was nominated. First time it won. It was up against some competition, Ratchet and Supergirl and the Umbrella Academy and stuff like that. But they came away with it. It's all about representation, and there's fabulous representation for the LGBTQ community on Discovery. I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. I think it speaks to the inclusion, the idea of inclusion that is the heart and soul of Trek.
My only issue, though, with this specific picture that they have for the article is, and this goes about inclusion, I don't see Reno on there as in the award picture.
Very good.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
Reno is older, an older gay female, and these are all younger, attractive people. So I don't know if she just didn't make it for that particular photo, but that is not being very inclusive.
I did not even think about that, but you are 1,000% correct. Good eye.
That's
Good
true.
eye.
That's true.
Let's hope that it's exactly what you described. It was just a missed photo op. But, I love Tig Notaro for her just extremely dry performance on that show.
She might be my favorite character on Discovery. I love her.
She is as dry as a Thanksgiving turkey that has been broken for 2 days.
I want to be just like her when I grow up.
Oh my God,
she's fantastic. Yes,
she's terrific. So yeah, let's hope that what you're saying is correct. But yeah, this is great. I think anything that celebrates inclusion and diversity is 1,000,000% what Star Trek has always been about. And the thing that, as we were discussing, that the three of us discuss all the time, is the fact that people who don't celebrate or recognize diversity in Star Trek, what the hell are you doing? Yeah. I mean, what is it that you really think you like about Star Trek if you don't like the thing that it is the most about? It's just it's a head scratcher.
It really is.
Yeah, I like I said again, the whole ageism thing is starting to be a little bit of a concern with me, especially in this article. So hopefully they do better.
Yeah. With
their photo ops. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, you're right. It's kind of a weird photo, and if it's not including Tig, if she didn't get an award, that kind of sucks. I agree with you.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was just main characters too, but then I was like, oh, that one lady's not really a main character either.
Right.
I wonder if she just wasn't available because they're running through it. They don't even mention her, so I don't know. But they they also say that they were. Yeah, they also say that they appeared virtually from the set, so
right.
Maybe she's not there yet. Maybe she's done and she's gone home or something. I don't know.
If they're going virtually from the set, though, I mean, they can have her too. Like,
oh yeah,
they can virtual. Bring her in. Like, we're not in the same place right now.
Wait, we're not.
No,
we're not.
Oh,
we're all
I know.
very, very spread out.
But we were very smart not to turn our cameras on either, so we don't virtually appear.
I'm going to transport you both here.
There we go. Oh, man. Well, it sounds like the weather's definitely better there than it is here.
In South Carolina, it's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. Here it's okay-ish, but it's still in the mid-50s. So, yeah. Very, very typical Michigan weather. So, well, gang, if I'm not mistaken, that actually kind of takes us to the end of the show. Our first ever news. I love to keep calling it a news explosion. A super duper extra special episode where Blossom gets her period. Oh wait, that didn't happen this episode. Thank God. Thank God. But anyway, that's the end of our show. So let's see. Who am I? I'm going to eeny meeny miny mo who gets to do the intro. And
I actually did read one more than Rich did, so let's him do the outro.
Oh, yes. Rich, by all means. That's very fair. Rich, go for it.
I'm fine. That's cool. Let's do it. For more information about Starfleet International in Michigan and beyond, please visit the Grand Petoskey, or the USS Grand Petoskey and or the USS Nomad on Facebook. The Code 47 podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network and is produced by Todd Oxtra.
Oh, yes, Todd Oxtra, my soul brother, over there on our other shows. So, yeah, we are, as Ed mentioned, as Rich had mentioned, part of a great podcasting network. We do 4 shows on a weekly/bi-weekly basis. You're listening to Code 47, talking about Star Trek, that comes out every Monday. Bi-weekly on Wednesdays, there is the Co-op Mode podcast. That is Todd and our friend Mark Carabin, the Canardian, talking about video games. On the opposing week, you get Mark and myself talking about Star Wars on the Holocron Chronicles. And then every Friday you get Todd and myself doing our Prime show, now almost 7 years in running, Secret Friends Unite, which is a smorgasbord of geek culture to be enjoyed by all. So you can reach all 4 shows over on Twitter at Secret Friends U. Drop us a tweet. Let us know what you think about the shows, something that you're enjoying, and we will talk about that on the corresponding program and get you some fame, get you in the mix. We also have a great store over on TeePublic. I love TeePublic because of the wide, crazy varieties of different products they have. They've got shirts, they've got hoodies, they've got wall art, pillows, coffee mugs, tumblers, stickers, and as Rich and I talked about recently, they don't have hats, which is dumb.
No hats.
We want hats. So no, you can go over to that website. You can support your favorite Secret Friend show. Proceeds from that actually do go back to helping pick up the cost that it is to produce our show and some of the upcoming projects that we have. Please visit us on the podcast streaming service of your choice and over on YouTube. Leave us a 5-star review. We do appreciate that, and it does help us grow the show. So with that, I'm going to thank you as always for joining us. I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring and to keep on trekking.
Kapla.
And don't forget, friends don't let friends watch the Kelvin universe.
Yes! Very good, you guys. You got your catchphrases in. I am impressed. Good deal. Well, as always, the end of the show means I have to pee. So I'm going to say goodbye. And wonderful work. And I will catch up with you guys on the chat as always. So keep on trucking, my friends.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.